Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino. Ronnie Rants alongside TK, Tommy Krysan, the St. Bernard Hall of Famer. TK joining us from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge. And I'm in an undisclosed location presented by Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Go to lasportshall.com, check it out. And, of course, we're presented by LeBear's Casino. LeBear's Casino, the best place in Baton Rouge to watch all the games at the sportsbook, at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. They even have the ESPN Bet Grill side, which is 21 and under, under 21, so you can bring the family over there. Great place to watch. And then of course you got the sportsbook side on the casino floor for over 21 and over. All right, TK, LSU men's basketball. I guess technically you win 2 in a row. It is a win streak. And so LSU men have won 2 games in a row. They went on the road, of course, had the miraculous win down 5 against Oklahoma with seconds left to win that one, and then they beat the worst team in the league and USC, South Carolina, not Southern Cal. It's widely known that LSU basketball, out of the 16 teams, has the 15th lowest payroll in the conference. South Carolina has the 16th lowest payroll in the conference, and that shows. South Carolina is not a good team. South Carolina, this is also how you know they have a low payroll, Tommy. On their roster, 8 players are from the state of South Carolina. That tells me you don't have money to go in the portal. You don't have money to go recruit nationally and all that. You have to get those players locally because that's all you can afford. And it's very rare that, I know you're going to say, well, LSU went to the Final Four in 2006 with a bunch of – it's very rare that a state like Louisiana or South Carolina is going to produce enough talent to, for your big-time basketball team, if it's all from that state, to be really good. I know it happened in the past one time, but it's very rare, and it shows. And South Carolina was down 14 at half to LSU, and that's how it ended. By the way, Tommy, a little victory for me. I was at the game, second half, about 4 minutes in, I decided to in-game bet a little small wager just to put a little fun on it. I had LSU minus 10.5. They covered, and I had the over 139. It went way over. So a little fun. Tigers win and Ronnie wins.
Well, and I had bet LSU minus 2.5 before the game started off. So anyway, speaking of South Carolina, Pulmonary went 3-0 opening weekend for his Gamecock baseball team. But also a lot of reports that McMahon is coming back next year. You suspected that earlier on Sports Shorts Daily a few days ago. All reports that he's coming back, and then maybe with this rev share program, maybe they can get some more dollars to get some money in there for that. And you talk about the local guys. I guess it's John Brady's crew that went to Indianapolis with the 5 or 6 guys that were within 60 miles of Baton Rouge, and that's been a long time ago. With all due respect to their big time accomplishment, but hey, it is a win streak. That winning streak's going to come to an end Saturday when they play Florida. They host Florida. I don't know. I mean, I'd be interesting to see that line. It'll be double digits for sure. Florida, having a shot to be a number 1 seed, certainly a number 2 seed. So it's good to hear that McMahon's going to come back. You pointed out a lot of reasons for that. And, like they said in the movie Major League, when you win 2 in a row, it's called a winning streak. So they can say that today. Maybe a little confidence. I don't know. I don't think they can beat Florida, but you got to line up and play.
That was 19 years ago, by the way, Tommy, that they went to the Final Four. It's unbelievable how old we are and how long ago that was. I can remember when LSU beat Duke to go to the Final Four in the Elite Eight. I was at Doug Thompson's house, kind of near the River Bend area of Baton Rouge, near LSU's campus. And I can remember, I forget who else was there watching it at his house, but when LSU won that game to beat J.J. Redick and Duke, I remember going in his backyard or going on his back patio, and you could hear cheers from other houses and it was a lot more students and young people that were living. There was a neighborhood behind his that had a lot more young people. And I can remember just hearing the cheers and all that coming from the folks in Baton Rouge when LSU punched their ticket to the Final Four in 2006. That's 19 years ago. Unbelievable. But hey, yeah, they took care of business. They won the game. Wasn't a tremendous crowd at the PMAC, which is to be expected. And Shay Dixon is the reporter who wrote an article about McMahon coming back and that LSU is going to retain him and they're just going to pump more money into NIL to give him a shot in his last year of his deal. I would like to see Scott Woodward say that, right? I mean, just from a standpoint of, I think it would help just firm it up. Woodward's the one who hired him. It's his guy. He's the one that kind of gave him a pass in year one and said it's not his fault because he didn't have any players under scholarship when he took the job. So it'd be nice for him to come out and kind of show a sign of support or just have a quote, to confirm all that. I think it helps in recruiting and everything like that. LSU women, obviously they've lost 2 games this year at South Carolina, at Texas. That's no big deal from a standpoint of those are 2 of the best teams in the country, and you lost on their home court. Of course, the Texas one hurts a lot more than South Carolina because you had a 12-point lead late in the third quarter when that game turned on you. You had a lead halfway through the fourth quarter and you lose the game. So that one will sting, but they get a chance to get right at tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow night they'll host Georgia and should be able to get back in the win column for Kim Mulkey's Tigers.
LSU baseball. Speaking of the win column, they beat Southern yesterday 13-1 in 6.5 innings. But if we laugh, it was just Southern, and no, they look terrible. Southern beat LSU last year, by the way. Let's not forget, a year ago, Southern, who beat the Tigers. And, oh, by the way, 2 of the 3 pitchers for Southern that threw in that game were former Rougarou players. Look, they have not played tough competition. 4 games in. LSU is definitely looking the part. Again, they only had 1 walk in the 6.5 innings, 3 different pitchers threw. Only 1 walk in 7 innings of work. They only had 1 walk. Again, that's the theme that is going to continue. I don't care about the offense. Hey, you score runs against Southern pitching, you should. By the way, another SWAC team, Texas Southern, was over at UL yesterday. They were winning, Tommy, at one point like 10-3, 11-4, something like that. And the Raging Cajuns come back and win that game 14-11. They escaped. That would have been an embarrassing loss for Matt Deggs' squad. They're now 2-2 on the season. But that said, LSU took care of business.
Well, Ron, Connor Ware, the left-hander, started. Okay, Ryan, one thing I noticed, okay, he was throwing 92, 93 in the first inning. Second and third inning, he only threw a total of 40 pitches. He was down to 89, 90. I don't know if maybe he just had some adrenaline pumped in him for that first inning, first time in an LSU mound. Crowd was very thin, obviously, 2 o'clock start. There was not many people there at all, and the weather wasn't great for baseball. But he did throw strike. I had one particular batter, he fell behind 3-0, came back, got the guy to fly out to right on a 3-2 pitch. So Connor Ware, I don't know if that should be alarming that the velo went down in only 40 pitches. But we'll keep an eye on that going forward. But a couple of errors by Southern early got them in a hole, and then LSU just cruised. Tonight, 6:30 in Thibodaux. Going to be very, very cold for those of you that might be going down to Thibodaux. And if you've ever been to Thibodaux, as I have been many a time for that baseball park, there's nothing to block the wind in Thibodaux. There's not a building over 3 stories high anywhere near the field. So I would say bundle up and get ready if you're heading to Thibodaux. And the Colonels don't want to move the game up to today when it might be a tad warmer because they want the big gate, they want the money and to make for the program and all that. So it'll be a chilly night there for LSU and the Colonels in Thibodaux.
Yeah, that's too close to the Gulf. That wind just gets you, Coach. That wind.
Well, Ronnie, I played there many years, as you know, and we used to call it the glove because the wind blew in so much that if you hit a ball in the outfield, it was a glove. It was going to go in somebody's glove because you couldn't hit it out of there. Very few home runs are hit there at all. That's always been decades that's been the case, and it'll be the case tonight. I doubt if you see a ball over the fence.
New Orleans was the home city for the Super Bowl this year. It's also going to play a role today, a big role in college football moving forward. Tell us about what's going on down there.
There's a meeting between the Big Ten and the SEC to discuss the college football playoff. This is simply a discussion to talk about 14 or 16 teams, who gets the automatic bids, who plays at home, and it's simply a meeting to come up with a proposal that will be presented next week in Dallas when the College Football Playoff Committee is scheduled to meet. Then they'll talk about whatever the SEC and Big Ten come up with today. They're talking about each school, each conference having 4 automatic bids if they go to 16 teams. And a lot of people are against that. I mean, and again, today's a discussion to come up with something to be presented next week. So even though we're not in the middle of college football, there's some important things going on, especially in the future of the playoff situation. And of course, LSU will be in that conversation when we get to August. And whether or not it changes for this year, that would take a unanimous vote next week. I don't know. We'll just have to let it play out, to use the Ronnie Rance term. We'll let it play out, and next week on Sports Shorts Daily or Sports Shorts Radio, we'll have an idea if it changed, and if it did, what did it change to?
I think based off of this year, I think it's safe to say that, yeah, more the merrier is great, but realistically, there's not more than 12 teams that deserve to have a shot at the national championship. I mean, do we really want to have, 4-loss teams or 3-loss teams every year, things like that? I mean, if they can find, and oh, by the way, the national championship game ended on the other side of the 15th of January. So, I mean, there is a school part to this. I know that we kind of scoff at that. We know that that's a little funny. But, you got some schools that are in the quarter system, some schools that are on the semester system. You got the transfer portal involved. The problem, if we could have 1 million teams. We could have 100 teams. But, I mean, at what point does school come in and eligibility and okay, what happens to players that are wanting to transfer or go to a different school in the spring? They were on this school in the fall, and it's a little bit of a messy situation. I think they should stick with the 12 teams, Tommy, and they should just simply have the Big Four conferences get an automatic bid. The winner of that league gets an automatic bid, which means the winner of the championship game gets an automatic bid. They're not going to do away with the championship game, even though they should, but it makes too much money for the conferences, so they're not going to do away with it. But the winner of that conference gets the bid. And then after that, I mean, once those 4 are in, you do your at-large picks. You have your one non-Power 5, whatever, highest ranked or other conference. And then you do your at-large, and then you just seed them 1 through, whatever, and you give the top 4 seeds a bye. I think that simple tweak of seeding them 1 through 12 and giving the top 4 teams a bye is the way to go.
I agree with you 100%. I think they should leave it at 12 for this coming season, make the adjustments you talked about, and whatever else they think is a way to do it. But you're hitting the nail on the head. Give the 4 power conferences a bye, seed everybody, and then go from there, and have some games on campuses that appeared to be a successful plan last year for the most part. So I would hope that that's what happens. You go to 14, 16, and then you could say, well, was that too quick of a reaction after only 1 year of a 12-team playoff? And keep in mind, it used to be a 2-team playoff. Then it went to 4. And, they made tweaks, but they never made drastic changes after only 1 year.
I mean, I think I'm curious about the campus games versus because the campus games are the best route. Now, I understand the dynamic of why you do the semifinals and the finals and all that, but I think the more campus games, the better, because you're guaranteed a sellout, number one. You're guaranteed a tremendous atmosphere, regardless of the opponent. It got tough. You saw the national championship. And obviously Notre Dame alumni you think of Notre Dame alumni as pretty affluent. The little difference between LSU alumni and Notre Dame alumni, on paper. And when Notre Dame had to go to 3 games in a row on the road, that's tough, right? There were less people in Atlanta with a Notre Dame shirt on than there were Ohio State. Now, how much of that had to do with the fatigue of of playing all the 3 straight games on the road and taking a month and all that. I don't know, but it seemed like that was an issue.
Yeah, and it's about money. I mean, it's about money. The whole thing's about money, and then it's about money to the particular schools who, you got to travel and you're making last minute, and then the cities jack up the hotel rate because of the special event. And I mean, it's clearly the root of it is the money, and the fans that can say, hey, I can pick one game to go to, but what if they lose? Then I didn't go to any. I mean, that's what it's all about. But but the money that the schools make and is much bigger, and that the playoff makes, and the yield to the teams and the conferences far outweighs those couple of fans who are trying to debate whether they can afford to go.
2 more things to get to today. One, the Tiger Woods kind of embarrassment last night, and also Olivia Dunn. An article came out about the LSU gymnast who the first time, and this came out basically in response to LSU beat Oklahoma, number 2 beat number 1 in front of a mega packed stadium on Friday night at the PMAC in Baton Rouge. But Olivia Dunn, when they faced Oklahoma before at a meet in Dallas a month or so ago, competed in 3 of the 4 apparatuses. She did not compete. This is now the 3rd straight meet, I believe, she did not compete. Rumors started to go around like, hey, what's going on? I mean, granted, we know that it's hard for Olivia Dunn to get on the floor because she's got tremendous competition on her own team. But the article shed some light on that.
Yeah, according to Coach Jay Clark, he said there's a kneecap issue and a recovery issue, and is she ready to go? Do they want to rush her back? That's the word coming out of LSU. So we'll see how that plays going forward. You kind of thought, yeah, we'll see. So we'll go with the report given by the coach.
Yeah, you're curious if with Olivia Dunn being there for so many years and so popular, and they know they get questions all the time, and it's and she's explained it. They've explained it. We all know it if you follow the program and you're not just a click person from afar, one of her followers that, hey, look, she's a great gymnast. She just happens to be on the number 1, number 2 gymnastics team in the country. It's like being the LSU 10th pitcher. If you're the 10th pitcher for LSU, you'd probably be the number 1 at a lot of other places. But, that just is what it is. If you choose to go there, that's what Olivia Dunn's going to do. I'm curious if it's really the knee or if they're just saying that, right? If they're just kind of protecting her, letting the knee be an issue the rest of her career over the next few weeks, next couple of months, to take the pressure off of, her having to answer or be embarrassed or whatever, or I don't know. Curious about that. Tiger Woods, tell the folks what happened last night.
Well, my first thought is Tiger Woods has not played a lot of golden tee in his day. That's my guess. Okay. Well, last night he had a 199-yard shot on this simulator in the TGL. His team got clocked again. They got routed in sports terms. And he had a shot from 199 yards. And the caddy said, 199 or 99, or used to always say buck 99.
No,
a lot of times
he didn't say the 1. Yeah, he said 99.
Okay, but a lot of times you say, but like if you and I are on the course, Ronnie, and you were 175 out, and you said, TK, how far you think I am? I'd say I could say buck 75, meaning 175 or 75, and you would know the difference. Okay, you know the difference between 75 and 175. Well, in the simulator, Tiger pulled out his wedge, and his teammates were like, "What is he doing?" They could see the club. Them guys can look as soon as you put the club down and know what you got in your hand. And he had a 56-degree wedge. And so they started laughing, and he hits it perfectly square, straight, lands in the fairway, but he could hit that club 100 yards, and he hit it exactly 100. And he looked at the caddy like, I heard 99, and the caddy kind of chuckled. They made it funny, but I don't know if it was staged. I don't know. Part of me thought that. But again, if he's on a golf course, he's not going to screw up 199 and 99. But on the simulator in a little small building compared to a golf course, he didn't hear, or the caddy said what he said, and it just got out of whack, and he flubbed it. He called it his most embarrassing moment in golf, and I don't know about that. But, again, they're trying to get publicity for TGL. The ratings have been awful, and,
It's awful, Tommy, and I hate to say that because I like the effort. I mean, I have no problem with them trying to do something different and all that. I'm curious because then supposedly they spent so many millions of dollars on that. Do you know the number and what it cost to build that structure?
Yeah,
And
they spent
they're
over 100 million. It was like 60 million for the building, and that building is only there for TGL golf. Now
right.
I'm sure one day something else will be in there. And it was 40 million on the Golden Tee thing, or the simulator, and the what you had to put inside the shell of the building. So, but about 100 million. Again, I got a friend who lives right there, and he gave me all those numbers. I don't know if he was there last night, but he's been to several of the matches, and it's just not catching on, and I don't think it will.
So they spent 100 million. Let's just say the number's 100 million. The thing that we don't know is how much it costs to run, right? What is the electric bill? What does it cost when the simulator fritzes and they got to mess with it? Because when you deal with that much in electronics and lights and sound and air and everything, like the operating costs are just through the roof. And so, again, their only chance is to go get all the major corporate events there. If you're going to bring your top 40 executives on a golf trip, instead of taking them to the Bahamas, take them down to West Palm and let them play in the simulator stuff and all that. You know what I mean? Like, that's where you can sell rounds. I don't know, instead of paying $500 a round at a high-end golf course, go pay $500 a golfer to do the simulator and see if you can't tick away slowly but surely at that. I don't know, but I feel bad because it's not going to work. It isn't working. It's hard to follow. As much of a golf fan as I am, you're more than I am even, and it's just clunky. It's just clunky.
Well, Ronnie, it's kind of like the world golf rankings. Nobody can explain that. Okay, there's nobody that I know on earth, including the top golfers in the world, including Jim Nance and all the other big time announcers, Mike Tirico. They can't explain it. Okay, but it comes out all the time. Well, TGL is parallel to that. Nobody can explain it. What does it mean to drop the hammer? And they got three guys and they play one-on-one some holes, and then it's team on some holes. It's just screwy. It's Golden Tee golf with a bunch of guys in the bar having a couple of beers and paying their full $5 and betting the next beer on who does what. I'm not a fan of it. I've given it a couple chances. And in fact, here's the thing, Ryan. This morning I'm making notes for the show. I had to scroll way down to find the thing about Tiger Woods flubbing the shot. Okay, that when Tiger Woods was on the tour, the first three articles on golf, certainly on the Golf Channel, were all about Tiger Woods. You go to CBS Sports, the first three things with Tiger Woods. I had to scroll for a long way to find out because I wanted to put it in my notes about TGL last night. I think we're about done talking about it, unless they screw up the yardage again.
All right, TK, tell us about Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, and then we'll be back Friday morning for more Sports Shorts Daily.
Well, today, like they do every Wednesday, burger special, $6.99 burger and fries, the famous Tremonti burgers that are served at the Rougarou games. You can get it to go. You can eat it here. That's every Wednesday, $6.99 burger and fries. A lot of catering orders going out today, feeding somebody at the office. So there's 40 people sending lunch over there. Boiled crawfish, live crawfish. They got plenty of that now. They always have a Tuesday special on crawfish where you can't beat the price. And then for the weekend, you can get boiled or live crawfish. Jefferson Highway, Baton Rouge. Mike and the staff do a great job. Need you to stop in here and check it out.
All right, for Tommy Krysan, I'm Ronnie Rance. Thanks for watching Sports Shorts presented by LeBears Casino. We will be back on Friday morning for more Sports Shorts Daily. Until then, please like and share this video. Have a good one, everybody.